I have been asked by a few people to make some knife reviews, and in particular, my Spydercos. These are the only Spyderco knives that I own. You've seen the Delica 4, and you have seen the Mannix. But my big secret is that I have a Tenacious. Now, I'm gonna be straight here. I'm not good at making knife reviews. I'm just gonna tell you my opinion. Maybe it's gonna help out somebody who intends to buy or not buy the knife. I'm not gonna give specifications unless I think they're important to my liking or disliking. So I'm gonna be very subjective here. I'm not gonna get on a bandwagon and tell you that the Spyderco Tenacious is a great knife. I'm not gonna do that because I don't think it's true. I think the Spyderco Tenacious is a $30, $35 knife. By no means should you expect more from it. I bought it and I was very dissatisfied with it. And I'm gonna tell you why. I've seen so many great reviews about this knife that I thought I was gonna get this knife and it's gonna be my EDC forever. But that wasn't so. I got this knife and I was a bit displeased with it. Well, because at the beginning it was really tight, the pivot, so I loosened it, and that immediately pushed the blade into the side. So I had to tighten it up, and if I wanted to flick it out, I had to flick my wrist as well. That problem took care of itself with time and usage. The next problem I had was these are Allen screws. I don't like that. I had to get a set of Allen keys, the small ones, because I didn't have such small Allen keys. But now I do, and that's not a problem. Carrying it, you can see it's really wide. Not as wide as my current EDC. So that couldn't have been a problem. The problem was that the clip was high visibility. And of course I could have spotted this in a video, but I didn't think that was going to be a problem. Well, it was. But that's also not why I dislike the knife. Why I dislike the knife is, like I said, everybody keeps saying this is such a good knife, such a good knife. And in fact, very few people talk about the shortcomings of this knife. One, the handle is not that comfortable. It's really not. Not for my hand. Compare it with the Rat 1. I'm not even going to compare it with the Mannix, which is very comfortable. It's kind of thin, and these edges bite into my fingers. So if I have to do something that requires me to hold on to the knife, it will actually hurt my fingers. So you can see, I guess, the stripes on my fingers. That was one thing I didn't like. The other thing is that I have repeatedly closed this knife on my nail. It never cut me, but I have closed it on my nail 5 or 6 times. Be more careful. That's my advice. And yeah, finally, coming back to the handle, it's just too thin for me. But before I gave up on it, I took the pocket clip down and took it in the woods. And what I immediately noticed was that this blade shape is great for food prep. Well, I keep my knife sharp, and I think this 8CR13 MOV is a good steel. It's not a super steel, but it gets the job done, and it's, well, comparable with my Aus 8. I'm not really, I didn't really do a test with them, nor do I intend to. It holds a good edge. And if you want to choke up on the blade, catch it like this, it's very comfortable in the hand like this. Not for heavy works, but how heavy could you work choking up on the blade like this? But it's very comfortable. A great plus for me, and this is the reason why I didn't give up on this knife, and why I still take it in the woods with me, is take the pocket clip off, have it in your pocket or in your backpack, and wear gloves. This will be a pleasure to work with gloves. It feels very comfortable in the hand if you have gloves, and you can, due to the very generous indent here, you can depress the liner with gloves, and doesn't even have to be the tip of your finger. You can do it with ski gloves actually, and it'll be very easy. I guess everybody knows it has drilled liners, which I don't really care for. I really don't care if it has them or doesn't have them. I don't mind the weight. I actually love a heavier knife. The jimping, it is good. I don't really use jimping that much, but I must say, it is good. Grabs your finger, and if you push long and hard enough on it, it's gonna hurt your finger, but I guess it does the job. Now, holding it like this and pushing my finger into the jimping, you see what happens? My index finger really gets a beating from the liner, so the handle's not that comfortable. Would I recommend this knife? I would say watch more reviews. If you know somebody who has it, ask him to lend you his and make a decision afterwards, or just watch more reviews. Like I said, my main problems are the handle, the fact that it's kind of dangerous. That's not really I guess, if you work with knives, you're gonna run the risk of cutting yourself anyway. But the handle being so thin, and the clip, you can paint over that, so that problem solved. The Allen screws, if you don't like that, you can replace them with new ones. My main problem, I think, is it's not that comfortable in the hand. But like I said, once I got to work with this knife, I really started to like this knife. I don't like it more than my Rat 1, for instance, which was cheaper. But I have to admit, the G10 is much more pleasant to the hand than the Zytel I have. And this one is in the same, well, almost the same condition as when I got it. The Zytel handle on the Rat 1 isn't. It wore down, and you can really feel the difference. Like I said, these holes don't really serve a purpose. They will gather up all kind of crud. And, well, if you're a freak like me, I take my knives apart, clean them, sharpen them, and one good part, I haven't sharpened this knife for a few months. I use it off and on, and then I just strop it. And with stropping, it gets and holds a really good edge. This is razor sharp now. I've used it yesterday and today. Came home, stropped it, razor sharp, no problem. This is, like I said, my opinion. People asked me for my opinion, and I'm gonna keep giving people my opinion. I hope somebody will find something interesting and will find something helpful. I sure did. I watched a lot of reviews, and that's what I do. I watch reviews when I buy something. And if a lot of people have to say positive things about a knife, I will look for the people that have to say negative things, and I'll try to see how well they present their opinions. I think I'm really spot on this knife. It's a good knife, but the hype around it is just too big. They could improve the knife with just a few minor modifications. As is, if you think you'll like it, my guess is you probably will. And if you don't have a folder, because I know a lot of people watch YouTube and then decide to get a folder for EC. I know I did. And if this is the first knife you're gonna get, I think you're gonna like it. I really think you're gonna like it. Then of course you'll find better ones, and you'll be attracted, and soon you'll be addicted to knives. But if you have like the Rat 1 and really like the Rat 1, like me, well, if you got accustomed to that handle, to that blade shape, to the ergonomics, you might be disappointed like I was. But I think if you just give it a chance, somehow you'll get to work it for you. I hope you liked it. I'm really looking forward to the feedback.